Good afternoon, people. Good night to everybody in Europe. Good night to everybody in Africa. Good midday to everybody in Asia. And to everybody that's here in the States, good morning. Coach Bates. This is the first episode of Skip to the Pros. I'm doing this because I have a lot of people from all over the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, all over different parts of America asking me, a lot of questions about professional football, college football, international football. So, I decided to do the podcast to answer a lot of questions that I get inboxes about. And today's first topic will be, how do I feel about the players skipping out on the bowl game? Now, the players skipping out on the bowl games, I'm all for it. I love it. All right, for a few reasons. First of all, they don't even ask the players if they want to participate in the bowl games, meaning they add new bowl games every year. They've been doing it for the last 10 to 15 years. They add new bowl games, one or two of them, sometimes three every year, and they don't bother asking the players, well, how do you guys feel about adding an extra game onto your schedule? So, to whereas, 20 years ago when teams would only play 10 to 12 games, now you have college athletes that are playing 16 games with, 13 regular season games, a conference championship, then possibly the playoffs, which could be 2 extra games. All right, so you got college players playing 16 games, which is the NFL season. And if you follow the NFL season, you know how difficult it is for players to make it through an entire NFL season healthy. By the time you get to the final 16th season, you got new guys signing left and right with new teams. Sometimes you only have about, somewhere between 6 to 10 guys in the playoffs that were actually on a roster at the final roster cutdowns after training camp because of how brutal of a sport it is. So players finally deciding that they're going to not participate in the bowl games to save their health and the longevity in their career, I love it. I hope more players start doing it. I don't think it will be smart if you're not a high draft pick. I think it can also hurt you. It can definitely hurt you if you're not on the draft board. If you're not on anybody's draft board, then it can do nothing but hurt you, because some people are not on draft boards until the last game. They might have a breakout game in a bowl game against a big-time team, or if, you're a receiver, you're going against a big-time corner, you have a big game, then that can help you. So bowl games can definitely help. But if you're a high-profile athlete, you're a high-profile player, and you already have NFL scouts or scouts from any pro league that want to sign you, what good do you get out of playing the game? On top of that, college coaches have been doing it for years. This year, let's look at, Alabama this year. Lane Kiffin is already been doing press conferences for Florida Atlantic. They're still in the playoffs at Alabama. Alabama's in the playoffs, and he's already making it public what coaches from the staff he's going to take with him, what coaches he's going to hire from other staffs. So if coaches are allowed to skip on bowl games, and you see head coaches take new jobs, and then the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator take over for the last game, if they can do that, then why can't players? It's a business. And I love the fact that players are finally open and honest and even just conscious of the fact that it's a business. So I love it. You got a coach like Lane Kiffin, who's done a press conference at Florida Atlantic already. Alabama's in the playoffs. So if your team's in the playoffs, what are you doing having press conferences and making press releases in the media about the new team you're going to be with? But then you have a problem with players who say they don't want to participate in the bowl game because they can potentially hurt themselves and lose millions of dollars. The reason why coaches go to other schools and leave their team during bowl season is because they're offered millions of dollars to do it. And then it's the same with players. So you look at the cat from LSU, the running back, McCaffrey from Stanford. I love it, man. The guy from Baylor just did it. So, again, I wouldn't tell any player who didn't have a legitimate shot at making it to the pros. I'd never tell them to do it because it'll hurt their shots. But any player that had a legitimate shot at playing in the pros, and asked me if they should do it, I would tell them, hell yeah, go for it. Save your body. It's a brutal game. Normally you have short careers, so you need to get as much out of it as you can. And I say go for it. I'm all for it. I support the players. I salute the guys that are brave enough to do it, because some players want to do it, but they give into the peer pressure from either players or coaches, whatever. And guys like that stand up, have enough balls to do it, man, I salute them. But that's about it, man. This is Skip to the Pros. We got a lot of good things coming with Skip to the Pros coming very soon. I'll be making some announcements here coming up in the next couple months. But until then, man, shoot me some comments, on the topics. Let me know what it is you want to talk about or questions you have. I get questions all the time on my Facebook and my inbox on Instagram. By the way, my Instagram is at International Football Coach. That's at International Football Coach. And you can hit me up on Facebook, my fan page, either Coach Bates. Shoot me a message, man. Let me know what it is you want to talk about. The next episode will probably be in a few days. I'm just covering the topics that I've already been asked to cover from players, either players I coached against, or guys that I haven't coached, but just we know each other through the coaching playing world. So I'll cover the next topic here in a few days. Till then, peace.